good morning, my artsy friends. Happy Monday morning to each and every one of you. I'm Ken Johnson, your thrifty apprentice, and I always tell you I am so glad that you took time out of your schedule to be here for this live this morning. Now, we're not going to keep you long today. We are, or I am, should I say, actually going to be playing around with designing stickers. I've never designed stickers before. As most of you know, over the last 2 years, I've moved into producing art products um, alongside the sketchbooks and all those type of things. And I was like, I want to do some stickers. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna play around with designing some stickers. I encourage you to grab whatever you're going to be creating with and maybe paint along, or as you kind of chat in a chat box holding a conversation and listen to the live, maybe you can work on your own sticker designs. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to follow any of the Defiant Art lives. Just jump in and enjoy yourself. That's the only thing important today, where we are going to be working, or I'm going to be trying to work through designing out some illustrations that I will either be turning into stickers here into the studio or sending off to the printer that I've now become associated with in order to have turned into stickers. And I haven't decided between vinyl or like the clear see-through plastic stickers so that it'll only look like the image versus having a white border, but I'll take care of all of those details and the actual ordering process. Now, what I'm going to be using today is I'm using um, nylon brushes, so basically synthetic brushes, whatever brushes you like to use. For a medium, I'm actually going to be using my granulating paint palette. Now, a couple of lives ago, can't remember how many of them there were, we did two videos where we walked through doing, and it's in a playlist in case you want to check it out. I think it's called Self-Made Granulating Palette, where we walked through putting together our own granulating palette. Um, and just showing you the swatch sheets from that really quickly. It was a fun live. We put the palette together in the first video, then we did a painting with the actual palette in the second video. But these are the swatches from that granulating watercolor palette that we put together. Now, not too many days after we did those lives, and I'd had a chance to kind of play around with the palette, I was on Amazon and I ran across a set of 12 White Knight full pan granulating colors that is a part of the granulating collection that White Knight has released. So I did order um, the Dream set, which is 12 full pans. And I added those 12 full pans of granulating colors to the palette that we made together throughout the lives. Now, we swatched this out inside the Creation Station Live, and then we actually ended up painting with it. So I just kind of wanted you guys to see the colors that I kind of have to paint from today that have been included inside this granulating palette. And the brands range from Van Gogh, Schminke, Hordem, Turner, uh, Core, Shinhan PWC, Da Vinci, Hartwell, and of course White Knights. So this palette is made up of many, many, many different brands of granulating watercolors that I've just kind of pulled out of sets that I already had or added to from things that I've ordered. So those are the paints that I'm going to be using today, and I'm going to be illustrating on Fabriano Artistico 100% cotton, 140-pound cold press watercolor paper. This is a 10 by 7 block. I do like to use blocks on a regular basis because it prevents you from having to tape your paper down, not just you want to do it for borders. But in this case, I'm not really worried about borders because I've already drawn 3 circles because I'm going for a circular design with the stickers that I'm going to be doing. So basically, I took a circle stencil and a black marker, a black alcohol marker, and made me 3 circles. One big one, I think is like 3.5, and then two and a half circles. And I'm going to be illustrating inside those today. Now, you can paint however you would want to. You don't have to illustrating size circles. You don't have to do this in order to excuse me, in order to be doing quote unquote stickers. You can just paint along for the fun of it. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in and getting started. We are going to do just very minimum sketching. I kind of sketched out a few little things I thought I might do as a design that would work really cute for, like, I don't know, stickers, because I do want to leave area on the stickers for writing. So basically what I'll do is I'll create the stickers. I'll scan this into my iPad. I'll use Procreate in order to put the little sayings that I want to put on each sticker. Um, and then I'll go from there. So let's just jump in here. I guess I'll grab a T square so I can keep my horizon lines as straight as possible. And we will start with, let's start with this one up here at the top. I'm thinking this one is probably going to be a silhouette, sort of maybe a sunset, maybe a night scene. I don't know. We'll have more sky than water. So I'm going to drop it down uh, a little bit under halfway. And this will just be a really simple one here. And let's put in a very small little rolling mountain or hill back there, whatever you want to do. It's not, this one is going to be probably the simplest of them all. Um, I'll end up putting a moon in here. We'll do that with white gouache. But that's about it. Seriously, that's about it. Maybe we'll turn it into a sunset, put some pretty yellows and oranges in there. Um, dusk right when the um around dusk time, right when you can see the moon in the sky. And it's not quite night. Maybe we'll talk about that time of day. This one down here will be a little bit more complicated. But I do want to keep area over here, water and blue. So I have a place to put the text that I'll be adding. So again, I'll come down just a little bit below halfway of that circle, or just a little bit below the middle. Putting in a horizon. We'll put in a tree line. So however you want to put it in. And then behind that, we'll do a mountain of some type, maybe something like that. And then let's have a little piece of land jutting off on this side, like so. Or maybe you want to make it a little bit sharper. Let's make, where's my eraser? Here we go. Let's make that, instead of rounding it off, let's make those angles a little sharper here, like that. And let me also grab, I just decided I want to put a tree there. So I'm going to grab a piece of painter's tape. I'm doing masks. I'm about to make a mask real quick. You guys get to see it. I'm going to do it right there. Yeah, let's do it right there. I'm going to tear off one end of this tape so it'll be jagged instead of straight. How wide do I want that tree? Say that's probably wide enough. I tear off a strip trying to keep it about the same width. I mean, it don't have to be. You can always join tape together. Tear that off. And where do I want this tree to be? Maybe I need to change that up a little bit. Let's see where I want this tree first. Let's put it, I guess it should span the whole painting just for there. There it is. I don't know if that's where it should be, but that's where it is. I do want to keep that water over there. We'll keep this, we'll let it be laying behind it. You can't really see it, but it'll come out right here. And then we'll let that be laying back there. We'll make it work. Okay, and then for the last one, about there for my horizon line. And then let's see, how did I do this? I have quite a lot going on here. There's a tree line right here, and then there is sort of a hill. I think that's what I was going for right here. A hill that's got greenery. It's a green hill. And then we'll try to throw a little mountain in. Why not? Right here. And let that kind of run behind it. We'll do all of this as water. Or should I make this greenery and put a pad here? I did want to keep them all sort of having water in them. I don't know what I want to do with that. I'll work it out in just a minute. If I want to turn it into anything else, I will. But I am going to try to keep these simple so that it doesn't take us too long to get through them. Now let me line my swatch sheets up in front of me so I can see what colors I'm playing with here. Because I don't know this palette by heart at all. And I need to grab some brushes. I'll be doing a 9 by 12 painting for this upcoming Wednesday's release. Those might be enough. That might be all I need. Um, Here, I'll grab a small flat just in case. So I grabbed a, let's see, a number 9 round. You can use a number 8, number 9, number 10, whatever you may have. I grabbed a number 3 flat, and I grabbed a number 5 round, which actually looks more like a number 4 round, but hey, who am I to argue with their sizing? I guess I'll start with, let's paint from this direction so that I won't have my hands in anything. I want to go with, I want to do a blue sky. Yeah, we're doing this on the spot. Like I don't have anything planned because we're literally designing stickers on the spot. So let's see. Let me get, maybe we can do something a little cloudy. Let's do something a little kind of stormy back there. So I'll start with ultramarine blue. Get some of that going. Add quite a bit of water to that. I'm even going to go ahead and wet this little area of my paper too. I am working with granulating paints. If you're not working with granulating paints, then you don't have to worry about using as much water. And I'll also tell you something else I'm not going to worry about. I'm not going to worry about back runs, cauliflower, because that is going to all add texture, even if it does. So I kind of want the stickers to look like they have texture to them if possible. Now, I've never used granulating watercolors in order to do stickers before, so I can't even tell you in all honesty that the texture is going to show on the stickers. Not unless I actually do them in-house myself. Now, I could always paint the stickers, varnish them, and then just put a sticky back on the back of the original painting. Could always do that. Just create my own in-house stickers using the actual original artwork, which is cool. I'm gonna grab some of that ultramarine and we're gonna go ahead and get started at the top here. Spread that out a little bit in there. Try to get some clouds going. So I'm not gonna really worry about running outside the boundaries of the circle either. Grab a little bit more of that mass tone. Get in here and get some in so we can be sure to see some granulation. I'm not really worried about a gradiating wash either. I don't care if it gets lighter when it goes towards the mountain or not, because we are doing sort of a purposely oversaturated sky. I want to make sure all my color is going to show up really well when it goes from this format to actual. I have a paper towel off on the side that I'm using to control my water, just in case you, because I didn't show you guys that. Let's go with. Oh, let's see. I want something kind of bluish with the clouds. Let's do this blue shadow from White Nights. Let's see. One, two, three, four, five. This one. Let's do this blue. Ooh, let's use this one. And I'm gonna pick it up. We're gonna do heavier pigment consistency here. And this brush might be too big. I might should be painting with a smaller brush, but I'll go in here and get some of this in. I definitely want to go in there with darker pigment. Because I'm not going to worry about cauliflowering or back running or anything like that. If it happens, it happens. Now, I don't know what that was. Um, my notifications on my phone. I'm like, what is that noise? I've never heard that before. My notifications are normally off because I keep my phone off for work purposes. Keep seeing those little tiny bugs in case you guys are wondering what I'm doing. I don't mind telling. Like I said, ain't no shame in my game about it. Now you can actually take, and I'm just putting darker shadows towards the bottom of those clouds. I don't know how that looks. We'll see. We'll see once it dries. I'm not going to really play with too much of anything because I definitely want the granulation and the difference of textures back there. Let's go ahead and jump in doing the water here. And I'm going to wet this bottom half. Now, I'm going to kind of anticipate what I'm going to be doing with the actual, well, I'm trying to see, maybe I should have went with a clear sky because I want the water to be light enough for text to be on top of it. And see, those are the type of things I'm trying to think about ahead of time. It's not necessarily working out the right way because I'm just like painting. um, if I had really thought about it, I wouldn't have had a cloudy sky because I know that cloudy sky needs to reflect into my water, but hey, whatever. Let's grab ultramarine. I'm gonna pick up more mass tone here by going straight from the pen. And this is something that doesn't have to be perfect. You know, of course I'm gonna do my best to paint it and make it look decent and pretty good, but this is fun. This is you designing, and you can find so many different sticker printers and makers out there. I'm trying to keep my strokes horizontal. So it'll definitely like we're working with water here. Let's grab more ultramarine for towards the bottom. Now what I'm doing right now is just using ultramarine straight from the pen, and I haven't like changed colors. I haven't added anything to the color. The first one was just a light wash, and now I'm going in mass tone directly from my pen, trying to leave it lighter in the middle. Now, if you want to put the reflection of your clouds in there, you could. I'm not gonna really worry about that. I'm already gonna have to do a little cleanup right there. Let's move over here. We'll do this guy. And oh, for this one, I don't know. Maybe we'll do something like a turquoise sky. Who knows? Let's have some fun over here. Just wet that sky down to my mountain. And then we will go in with, let's do this Turner Mayan blue because it should granulate and it's got a turquoisey, really pretty turquoisey color to it. We use that in ultramarine. So let's put this down as the base. Gorgeous color. I mean, that is such a pretty color. And I am not worried about, as I told you earlier, um, I'm bringing down to a lighter color above my mountains. I don't mind it all being one color in the sky like that. I feel like it's going to help with the sticker production. Could be wrong. I just feel that way. I'm going in with mass tone ultramarine towards the top. Mix that ultramarine in. Clean my brush. Go back into my Mayan blue and just make sure I blend it out. Blend it in. It'll darken the turquoisey color just a little bit. I'm gonna stop, rinse my brush. This is where I am gonna worry about the ombre. I'm pulling water out. Start about right here and then blend on down. It's not gonna get too much lighter, but it will be a little bit softer. There we go. And I'll put that same feeling in. I don't know what's going on with my skies today, but we're gonna roll with them. I'm not going back to redo anything. And the ones I like, I'll have turned into stickers, and the ones I don't, we'll figure out something to do with them. They might end up in like Happy Mail or something. Maybe the decoration for the front of a greeting card or a little, I'm thinking of you note or something like that. Now there is I have been talking lately about the little kind of thrifty version of a sale mail club where we would exchange either handmade greeting cards or artist trading cards, ATCs, which I actually love the idea of exchanging ATCs. I think that'll be so cool. Uh, and for those people who are crafters doing standard size greeting cards, like I think all of that will be so cool. I really do. Be something that we can all really get into. Just blending back and forth between that Mayan blue and ultramarine in the water. And because everything is still wet, it'll blend kind of seamlessly. Keeping it darker towards the bottom of the circle just for some visual weight. I don't know how much granulation we're going to have in that water, but I like that one. I like that one better than that one so far. All right, let's move on to this third one. And what do I want to do? I think I want to switch up the color on the sky and do something heavier, darker, maybe almost more purple, cooler. Let's go with this lilac mist. Let's go with the lilac mist from, let's see, that's going to be, I got to remember the order there. That's violet, that's rose mist, gray, uh, lilac mist. That's this one. Yeah, that's this one. It's got this kind of purpley undertone to it, but it's actually it's purple, really. I'm gonna do that one in ultramarine and this little sky down here. I'm gonna stick with this big brush since I've been using it and I'm soon to be doing okay with it. I'll check the chat box in just a second, guys. I've been just trying to get all of the bases done so that I can let that dry while I'm checking the chat. And I'm also trying to be, just conscious of the time. Now, tonight, inside the Creation Station, we're going to be continuing our exploration of the Defiant Art Creation Journal. So, if you're not a Creation Station member, I do encourage you to check out the Patreon link in the video description and hit membership when you get to the page. You can read the description for the Creation Station and see if it's something that works for you. If you're a free member, you may want to consider the advantages to the creation station versus the advantages to just being a free member. This is very cost effective, I promise. Not expensive at all. Let's see if we can make some ultramarine in that and it looks okay. That's my fear. Sneak some in, see what happens with this sky. And maybe we'll even put some clouds in this one too. Let's go with a little bit more mass tone ultramarine there. See if we can. There we go. I'll put it in certain spots and then just let it blend into the background. And we'll give it a second to dry. And then we're going to go in there and put in some clouds. I'm thinking we'll put in some more gray clouds. Let's do the water area down here real quick as well. And this background here is really irrelevant. The tree, the birch tree is going to be the focal image of this one. And I decided to do small little paintings that way I can move around and give things time to naturally dry um, versus having to speed it up with a hair dryer. Although it seems like I may be getting a hair dryer anyway. Get some of this in down here in this water. That one's going to be a little tricky, especially with the shadow. Grab some of this ultramarine. I have water on my ferrule that I needed to wipe out. So a little bit more ultramarine from the pan here. It's not quite wet enough. I'm gonna add a little water to my brush. I really love this paper. Um, Fabriano does a really nice job with their papers. Well, they're professional papers anyway now. The studio papers, you know, the Fabriano studio paper, their student grade version of their paper is it's okay. Well, I just really turned that into water and didn't mean to. Let's see if we can lift that out. And let's blend in a little bit more ultramarine in this bottom down. Again, adding visual weight. And as long as it's still wet, keep in mind you can still blend back and forth. Add in your different colors to get the effect you want. Okay, I think I'm good with that. That one's a little harsh, so I'm gonna blend it out a little bit. Okay. All right, I'm gonna give these a few seconds to dry, and then we're gonna go in and start doing the mountain portion of each one. All right, let's see here. You know what? First things first, I want to do that mountain actually. So instead of the small round, I cannot, let's not knock anything over. I'm gonna get the small flat here, and I'm gonna mix. I'm not gonna mix anything. We'll use a pre-existing gray. Let's use this white knight. This is called Gray Rose Mist. And it looks green in the pan, but it definitely doesn't come out green. It is definitely gray, but it looks so green in the pan, which I think is so funny. Which is another reason you have to swatch out your water soluble medium. Add a little water to that. I think it's kind of strong. So using this little flat, I'm gonna go in here and lightly start to carve out some snow areas in my mountain. And I'm definitely using that small flat brush to do this. Keep it darker across the bottom. And the direction you add your shadows in will start to shape your mountain as far as dimension is concerned. I just always try to keep that in mind as I'm painting. Where all these little shadows on the mountain ends up. Sometimes I go back and make some of them darker because I want them to stand out more. But basically, you're negative painting. You're putting in the rocky area of your mountain. And you're using the white of your paper for the snow. And I'm keeping it, I wanted to use a cool gray because, of course, we know cool colors do what? Cool colors recede. And they're going to help push it back. Now, this gray has a bit of a purple undertone to it as well, which helps make it cooler. And at this point, I'm actually doing a kind of dry brushing. I don't have a lot of paint on the brush at all because I wanted skipping over stuff. Kind of using the corner of my brush to push up texture, and it will pull some of that color back across because you still have pigment on your brush. I think I like that. It's a little bit too much of white in this area, so let's kind of close this up a little bit in here. Okay, that's better. And I'm probably gonna just hit and miss around the very top of that a little bit. Okay, and let's move over to this little guy. This is just a silhouette one, so this one is really simple. We're actually going to use the various. I want that to be more dark, though. I want it to be black. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this same little mixture of what was that gray stone mist. We're going to mix ultramarine into it. And then I'm going to mix in, I want to say this burnt sienna. Yeah, Van Gogh. This is no, this is not Van Gogh. This is what is this? What is this? This is one of those colors. That's gonna be hematite mix. Ooh, that's pretty though. It's not what I want. I want to go back up here. Um, where am I? Ultramarine. That's cerulean turquoise. The blue turquoise does. That's Da Vinci ultramarine violet, which is a beautiful color. And for is this burnt umber? I think that's black oxide. This is burnt umber. And I do want to put back in some more of that original um, Miss Gray color. And I'm using the ultramarine and the burnt umber. The ultramarine is cooling it off. Be interesting to see what we get with this. All right, I'm gonna take that and paint in this area silhouette. So you just make yourself a nice gray or black, or whatever you feel like you want your color to be, and paint in your little mountain area. Nothing to it but to do it. If your paint has texture, that's gonna add the texture. If not, that's cool too. This one is super simple. Super, super simple. And you're gonna put a reflection in the water. It's pretty much the same thing, upside down. So I'm gonna add water to that paint. It's gonna gray out. And I'm going to, ooh, do I want to do that while it's still wet? I think I'll give it time to dry completely. And we'll end up putting a few little shadows in the water. That one will be pretty easy. A moon in the sky. Let's move over here. We're doing another little mountain back there as well. I'm gonna stick with this darker gray color for this one over here. Grabbing my flat brush again. You can do whatever colors you want to. You don't have to do the colors I'm doing. It is completely on you. I'm just getting down some mountain here. And I'm doing the bottom portion first because my tree line below it is kind of jagged, right? And I just kind of paint the shapes I see in my head. They don't come out right sometimes, and other times it's like, okay, I'm not sure what kind of mountain it is, but I keep going with it anyway. I think a lot of people are scared to admit that they have way more unsuccessful paintings than they have successful paintings. Then, of course, if you're like running a YouTube channel, you you can't you can't necessarily tell people, oh yeah, like my paintings suck on a regular basis. But guess what? They do for the most part. And I'm just kind of scribbling on this mountain. I'm not really going in any particular direction with things. Just trying to give it some shape from different angles, make it look a different shape from this one. And I do move my paper as I paint. That way I can pull my brush stroke towards me. I suggest you try it if you've never tried it. It is does amazing things for your artwork. Another reason I like for things to kind of be taped down, to add a little water to that. Too much dry brushing going on there. Okay, I think. Oh, I went in the sky with it. Oh well, I think that's good. Let me give that a second to catch up and see how that look on screen. All right, and we'll put a tree line in front of it in a minute. I think we can move back over here and work on this tree line. I'm gonna stop and check the comments again in a minute. I just wanted to make a little progression here. Here, let's do something. We'll do a green, and then we'll do. Let's do green shadows. That sounds like it'll be pretty. I want to do this one, green shadows, and then we'll use ultramarine to darken this in order to add in the shadows to green shadows. Like that, don't you? All right. I'm going to just use a wet wash here on this brush. I'm not going to pre-wet. I am turning my paper towards me, and we are just going to paint in this area. Actually, I'm going to add more water, and I probably should use a bigger brush here because I want this to be really wet and saturated. And basically what I'm doing is shaping the tree line on the bottom at this point. And then I'll go back in and fill in the rest of those bushes above it. All right. Now I'm gonna fill in this area. Okay. And I want to make sure that this area is wet enough. So I'm gonna throw in some more paint. I don't want anything to dry out. What color was I using? Green shadows. Immediately, I'm gonna add ultramarine blue to it while it's still in that work, and then get a little bit of dark. Just kind of put that at the top. And let it just kind of bleed in there in places. Just dropping ultramarine in and letting it do its thing in places. That's all. There we go. Just add a little depth to stuff. Have some prettiness going on back there. Actually, I'm gonna probably do that entire thing blue in that corner. And I'm mixing it directly on the paper, so those colors are gonna blend and do their thing right there. Let's move on. Excuse me. We'll do the shadow over here. I'm gonna stick with this small brush and water down the black I made quite a bit. And I'm gonna use that to kind of draw in what I want here. And come up here, 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 here. Trying to make it look sort of exactly like it. And then we will just paint in the shadow. Rinse and go back in here and blend this across itself. And then I'm grabbing, want some little depth in here. Not quite sure how that looks. Let me see. Sometimes I'm a little too close to it, so I have to rely on how it looks on the screen. I'm gonna go back in here with the flat brush now, grabbing a little bit darker of that blackish gray color, and gonna just put in a few little squiggly shadows here across my water surface. Of course, you paint yours however you want to. Still don't like the way they ended up looking. It's not too bad. Okay. All right. Let's move down to this one. This one I want to put sort of a bluey green tree line back here and almost uh mm, I don't know. I like this aqua mist color. I'm not sure how well it's gonna go with that purple. I think I want to stick with green. Let's see. Got Van Gogh Dust Green. I'm not sure how that'll look, but you know what? We won't know until we try it. So let's see. That is Maya Yellow, and this is Dust Green. Excuse me. Okay, it's dark. It's kind of dark. Let's do it anyway because I it's purple, right? Purple background. Let's see. Here we go. We're gonna start doing it. Make sure my tape is stuck down. Okay. And then I feel like, excuse me, I'm gonna grab ultramarine because ultramarine is the base for mixing all of our shadows. And I didn't wet it. I just grabbed ultramarine and go across the bottom here and just let that wick up. A little bit more. It's not quite dark enough for me. I am helping it out a little bit there by pushing up on it. All right. I think that's gonna be nice. I need to go back over here. Is this dry yet? Okay, that's not quite dry. I think that's dry enough for me to continue to work on it though. So for this one, I need to grab bleed proof white, which I think is across the room. So I'm gonna take a break to check the chat and see where we are, what we talk about, what we're doing. And I'm gonna grab the bleed proof. It's actually a little cool. The sun has gone down. I'm really liking the way this one is turning out. I'm really liking the way that's turning out. That's looking pretty nice there. All right, where we are we dry? We're gonna go ahead and do this one up here because this will be easy. No, I'm gonna save it to the end because I don't want my paint water, my rinse water, floating with whitewash this shit. Let's move down here. I think this is dry enough. Yeah, this is dry enough. I'm gonna grab that little flat brush I was working with. I'm gonna jump up here and grab. Oh my goodness. I don't really have a yellow ochre. As a matter of fact, the only yellow I have in this set is the Maya yellow. So I'm gonna put down some burnt umber. Put just a little water in it. Let's grab a little bit more of that. I'm gonna rinse my brush really good, and then I'm gonna grab some of this Maya yellow. Now the thing about the Maya colors are they granulate, but They they dry down super hard and they're really hard to re-wet. And those are Turner Maya colors. So I'm using burnt umber and Maya yellow. Painting in this little land area over here. I'm trying to decide, do I want to make that land? I think I do. Make it look like it jet out into the water right here. That'll be cool. And then jet out into the water right here. Yeah, I said I was gonna make those rocks, but I think it look better as land. Now I'm gonna grab a touch of what green was I using? But I think I mixed something into that green. I mixed blue into that, so I don't want that one. Let's just grab straight burnt umber on its own. Put a few shadow patches in there. And I'll throw on some grass, some little grasses here or there. I think I definitely want to paint using that burnt umber. I'm actually going to end up putting a little black in there. I'm going to paint this side right here so that it looks like that land is coming up. See all around that portion. Same thing here. You'll be able to see a little sliver of that lifting land. All right. And then I want to grab some of that darker black that I made and I'll put it in right there on top of it so it'll look like a little shadow on both sides like that. Okay, I think that's good. I like the way that looks. Let's jump back over here real quick. And we are doing, let's see, what color did I want to do there? Here I want to do a lighter green, something a little bit more faded per se. Let's go. Let's go with this Van Gogh Dusk Yellow Green. Yes. Let's go with this Dusk Yellow Green. Don't ask me how this is gonna look. But just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna hit it with just a little bit of that. What were we using? Green shadows over here. I'm gonna mix just a little bit of that in, just so I can make sure we got some color harmony going on. All right, and then rinse my brush, wet my brush, go into the color, and let's see what we got going on. I don't think it's enough yellow in there. I want it a little bit warmer. I'm gonna grab some of that Maya yellow, mix it in, one more water. Let's try this again. It's not too bad. I would have preferred those have a little bit more like, there we go. There we go, like a little bit more of a tree line look to it. And this brush does not hold enough paint to do anything. Like I'm gonna have to mix some more of that to really get that to be smooth. Mm, I'm gonna grab some of that straight from the pan and just across the top here, just kind of. Just kind of blending it down. All right, I feel like that's decent. I may put some trees in front of it. I may not. I definitely know I'm gonna put shadow into the water. Let's move back over here and let's go ahead and put shadows in this water. Then we'll do one final dry, then finish everything off. We'll have the tree to do here, the moon and the reflections to do here, and the reflections to do over on this side as well. So let's put in some reflections here really quick. I'm just going to water down one of these greens I already have on a palette that I've been using. Really doesn't matter. And just base in a reflection. It looked like it somewhat matched. It somewhat matched what you did. It's not a big deal at all. It's way too much water that I just added to that. That's okay. Plan that out. Let's see how we're looking here. That's good. We're gonna let that be good. I think I want to put a little bit more color in it though. It does seem a little weak. Okay, and I'm using that same brush to go in and put tiny little grasses. Nothing major, just throwing in, throwing in some little grasses around that. I do need to let that dry though before I pull that tape off. Over here, we will put in, oh my goodness, how do we do this? I'm gonna do a ripple effect shadow over here. So basically, since it's cloudy in the sky, I'm gonna take that green I've been using and mix it with the gray that we mixed. Switch over to my flat brush for this. Add enough water to it to do some good. I'm just mixing the dust green or whatever green it was and the gray I made. And basically, what I'm gonna do with this to try to get this in is a ripply kind of shadow effect. It's basically where you're gonna kind of imitate what's above with straight horizontal strokes that'll sort of give you the feel of the overall image that you are kind of copying without being a direct reflection. I actually like doing this. I think it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool way to cheat on doing on doing reflections. And there's nothing wrong with it because it actually is, kind of reflecting the shape or whatever you had here. And, just a couple other strokes here or there just to tie it all together. I don't want it to look too out of place. Make it darker right under the actual mountain there, or tree line, or whatever you want to call it, so that our water line will show up really well. All right, right here, I'm gonna go with that dust green, which was the original color that was there. And I'm just only gonna use the dust green, just the dust green, nothing else. I'm gonna get it sort of saturated. I'm adding another little tree line there, just for a little bit more depth. And because the dust green is dark, it shadows itself out. Keeping in mind the time of day we're painting, so there wouldn't be any like this would be in shadow in all honesty. But I just felt like this one needed a little something else to really kind of bring it to life. So I'm just scribbling in some little bushes down here. Now, is that meaning I'm going to have to change my reflections? Yes, it does. We're going to get to that in just a second. All these different brands work well together and layer well together. Now I'm going to water that same dust down just a little, and I'm going to put in a little rough tree line reflection inside the reflection. And like I told you earlier, I wasn't going to be really worried about harsh lines and stuff like that. Okay, because when it was all said and done, it's all going to make sense. And that's good. Do I want to do anything else over here? Don't think I do. It would be nice if they could see that white mountain reflecting in it, but you know what? I'm gonna leave well enough alone while I'm there. I think I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna put a moon in it, put some reflection in it, a moon in this one, reflection in it. This one we need to get around to doing the tree, which is white. Let's pour out the masking tape here to reveal our tree. And I'm just gonna wipe out any like pencil marks that was in there. Okay, first things first, let's paint our tree. We're going to be using that same gray mixture they were reusing. I'm going to beef it up a little bit with some ultramarine, some burnt sienna, water in that. It's a little too warm, so more ultramarine to cool it off. That's, that's good there. I'm going to grab a flat brush here and I'm wetting. I guess I'm going to just wet the, what is this, left side of the tree with a flat brush, or you can wet your whole tree if you want. Let's do that. I actually didn't mean for that to color that whole thing gray like that, so I'm gonna blot up some of that, and then grabbing a little bit of that gray on my brush, I'm going along the left side of my tree and bring that color down. I'm gonna rinse my brush, blot it off on my paper towel, and then I'm going back and blending that shadow towards that part of the tree, so I don't have any harshness there. Okay. All right. Now with that same brush, I'm going to start to add on. Actually, I don't need dry brush in here. So I don't want it dry brush. I am going to rinse my bristles and pull the water out of them, but I want them to stay together because I don't want this to be like dry brushing. I'm going to make sure my bristles are together. Load them up with some paint here. If they split apart, I'll just kind of jiggle them until they push themselves back together as much as possible anyway. And I figure out where I want to start. I guess I'll start on this side and I'm jiggling. Now the way I do this is I'm almost holding it on the tip of my brush and I'm jiggling and I'm going back and forth across my tree with straight marks. This is like the easiest way I can teach you to paint a birch tree with straight marks. Now, if you are from the area where birch trees are popular, you don't need my help with this. But basically, I'm scribbling and pulling in those areas of the tree that would seem really kind of papery. So first I put down my straight marks first, right? And then I went in and just with jiggling my brush towards the corner of the object, made those a little bit more crepey and papery. You can add a second layer to them, make them dark as you want. Now I'm showing you how to do it without the credit card scraper. I normally do this with the credit card scraper. It's so easy that way. But I always like to show you guys that there's more than one way to do anything. So now I'm just gonna go through and kind of just hit and miss here and there where I feel like there might be some black marks here. Let's put a little circle right there. And how you have those circles in the tree. And I'm gonna enhance the shadow side just a little more. Make sure it stands out from that tree line. All right, I think that's good. You know that's a birch tree. I don't have to do too much to it. You can put you some branches on it if you want to. Just grab your round brush with little water, little water, little water, little water. Get you, you want just enough water on your brush for the paint to flow off. Get you a brush that comes to a nice point, and then you can start at a random point on the tree and then just pull up that branch, twisting as you go. Twist your hand, twist your arm, twist your wrist, should I say. That just get some branches on it. No one ever said your branches had to have leaves. A lot of time mine don't. There, real cute, real quick. Hey Corinthians. All right, where are we? We are over 2 hours now. All right, so I think we can go on and wrap everything up with some bleed proof here. Hopefully, you guys have found this interesting. You've painted along, either designing your own stickers or at least just kind of painted along with what I'm doing to have a little fun. I think these are going to be really cute to see as stickers. I'm grabbing some bleed proof here. So I'm going to give these time to dry. The first thing I'm going to do is give them time to dry. Then I'm going to scan them in, put them into my iPad, into Procreate, and finish off designing the stickers. Then I actually may turn the originals into stickers by putting sticky paper on the back of them, spraying them with a varnish so it'll be safe to handle them with your hands. And they may end up becoming like fronts for journals or sketchbooks, which I think would be really cool. Okay, so let's do this one first. I'm gonna put the little moon over here. make it as big or as small as you want. I think I'm gonna keep it about right there. And then it could reflect like this, but I think I want it to reflect like how you see it reflecting kind of across the water going at a diagonal. So it looks like the water is kind of catching the moonlight and carrying it off. I think that'll be cute. Like that. But that doesn't seem, that bleed proof doesn't seem to really be white enough. So I'm gonna see if I can get that whiter with a second layer here. It was pretty thin, like this. The contrast is gonna show better for the sticker. That's why I want it whiter. And they'll get bigger as they come towards us, which is why I'm using the belly of my brush. I'm using the tip of my brush back there. And then the closer I come to us, it goes to the belly of my brush. All right. Then I want to put in a water line up under my mountain back here. Just kind of hit and miss a water line to let you know that water. And then just a couple little ripples here and there. If you want to keep these light, you can. The white should contrast pretty well against the shadows in your water. I'm hungry. It's time to go eat now. All right, that's that one. Okay, let's go ahead and let's move over here. I'm trying to decide where I want to put the moon in this one, or if I want to put a moon in this one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a water line, because we definitely would have one. I'm just using the tip of my brush, stippling, drawing some straight lines or whatever, just to indicate a little water line back there. And, it wouldn't hurt. It really wouldn't hurt. I need to see where I would put the moon first, like back here behind these two clouds, or maybe here a little higher in the sky, or maybe it should be on this side or not directly at the top. And I don't really want it directly in the middle. I kind of feel like right here is where it goes. That feels right. And then, we're just gonna let you have your little reflection be right up under you. I need more water and more bleed proof because it's not flowing off my brush the way I need it to. And some things you just need to flow off your brush really well. And I'm dragging these out across the water for effect. Gouache and granulating watercolor. I mean, who else? You can't ask for anything better, right? All right. And if you wanted to, you could even hit like the white parts of your mountains. If you want to just add a little bit more pizzazz to them, like this, or you can leave them white from the paper, but adding a little white from the bleed proof just kind of ties in another gouache area. And I I think I want to put another thing on my moon. Same little week. Put another little layer on that just to make sure that it's good and white. And down here, I think the only thing I'm gonna put in is a water line. Should they all have moons in them? I don't know. I think I'm going moon crazy now. What you guys think? There we go. Tell me what you think. Should we add a moon to the third one before we wrap up? Let me know. Make it a magnet. Yeah, they make nice magnets. They make really nice magnets. I don't know. I like the addition of the moon and the bleed proof. I think it added something to all of them. Maybe I should do it to the third one. These are nice. These turned out pretty decent. I'm gonna be kind to myself today. I didn't have no idea how they turned out going into it, but they didn't turn out too bad. Don't forget, friends, if you're here, drop a little love, give the video a thumbs up. I didn't know you could hype a video now. So I was on YouTube yesterday watching treasure books because I love Natasha. Who doesn't? um, so I'm watching treasure books, and I noticed that after I left a comment, it automatically moved over to this thing called hype, giving you the opportunity to hype the video. So I did a little research, and it turns out that hyping the video helps push it in front of other people, kind of helps it out with the algorithm, just like a like will. And I was like, oh, well, that's different. And I guess it's I think it's a great way to kind of help advertise the country creators you like the most. Thank you, Gwen. Think it'll be cute frame, Virginia? Mhm. That's so cute. Kaylin Jeterius 82 is Corinthians. So he'll get a chance to see him. Put on the car. Hey, that's not a bad idea either. Put them on the car. I like to paint flowers, Virginia. I don't think I'm as I think I'm a landscape painter. I think that's what I excel at, painting landscapes. Um, Other than landscapes, I think I do really well at painting still life, food, desserts, um, mainly landscapes. I do pretty decently with florals. I'm not a really loose style artist, so actually painting loose florals is hard for me, believe it or not. Um, but yeah, I love but those are the things that I want to learn how to paint the most. Is always the things that you can't paint the best that you want to be the best at, right? Inspiration for my first mini quest. Absolutely, go right ahead, friend. Go right ahead. Well, thank you, On. I appreciate that. Well, friends, I'm trying to decide. No, I think I'll leave the moon out of the last one. It'll be just like it is. I like the way that they came out. I really do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Now this video will be receiving edits for those who will be watching it in replay. Don't forget to jump in the comments section and let me know what you thought of today's live. Did you paint along? Did you create along? I had a lot of fun doing these. And I will, of course, be showing you guys the results once they actually do become stickers. Now, one of the main reasons that I put the black alcohol border around each one was so that after I get it scanned in, other than helping with the separation with scanning it in, I think I'm going to scan them into my brother's scan and cut machine. That way I can let that machine cut out the perfect circles without me using scissors to try to do it. Because I want to keep them intact as much as possible. And these were painted with the granulating watercolor palette, friends. This was fun. I'm talking a lot now because this was fun. It really was. Don't forget to give the video, sprinkle a little love, give the video a thumbs up. Remember that sharing is caring. Maybe there's someone else out there who would love to go through um, designing some stickers of their own. Now that I know about the hype thing, I'm gonna say, hey, hype the video, push it out there in front of people. Love that. I love that whole hype system. You can check the video description for all of the relevant links. If you're new or returning and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out when we're having great painting sessions like this. As I said, video description, if you're interested in Patreon, the link for Patreon is there. If you're interested in following me over on Instagram or even joining the Thrifty Apprentice sponsored Facebook group, Paints, Pencils, Pastels, and Markers, those links are in the video description. The link for the second channel, the Paper Alchemist channel, where we do all things paper craft and crafty and art stuff as well. That link is also in the video description. The Palm Street link is in the video description if you want to go ahead, get yourself set up so that you'll be ready for the sketchbook sale and the soft launch of the Defiant Art Creation Journal happening March 22nd at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time over on the Palm Street app. So you can definitely check that out. And there's also the most recommended product list, as well as the Defiant Art website. All those are great resources for you to check out things. Patreon Creation Session. I will see you tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we will continue our venture into the Defiant Art Creation Journal. And everyone else, I'll see you this upcoming Wednesday right here on YouTube, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for our pre-recorded normal water soluble Wednesday release. This one may be for real time as well. In the meantime, enjoy your week. And remember, as I tell each and every one of you, my friends, I artsy love you and just keep creating.